Hey everybody, it's Amy Graham, the Badass Valkyrie, and today I just wanted to go over how August ended up and how I've set up September in my traveler's notebooks, and show you what I actually took to DragonCon and didn't or did use. So if you haven't seen it by now, I have posted a blog regarding my DragonCon experience this year. And I talk about some different things. Most importantly, what transpired on Thursday when I arrived there. A friend of mine, I got into Atlanta about 3, and later on that evening, I found out that a friend of mine here in Salt Lake City, Rachel Emborg, had passed away. And so it was very unexpected. Even though we knew there were issues because she was recovering from breast cancer, and she had gone back into the hospital with pneumonia. But she is part of the planner community as well, and so that's why I'm actually mentioning this. But none of us were prepared for how quickly she passed away, and it took me by surprise and hit me hard. And being away from here to deal with that was hard. Also trying to figure out my feelings for DragonCon, and that happening at DragonCon, and trying to stay up for people there and the events that I actually had to be a part of was a very interesting experience. And it kind of all came together today in a blog, and so that's on my blog post, and I'll link it down below for you. But it goes into a lot more detail than what I would go on here. But I know that several of you knew her, as far as being, she would comment a lot in a lot of the different planner groups and things like that. And she was a commenter here on my channel as well, and a dear friend of mine who I knew personally here locally. And it was a shock, but it makes you pay attention to things, and it brings other things that would not normally be in your vision forward. So it affected me. I can't say negatively or positively. It just affected me. And with me going into knowing that DragonCon this was the last DragonCon that I was going to be going to for a while, it just kind of set the pace for that. And again, that is also part of the reason this video has been a little bit delayed. I wasn't sure how I was going to approach that. I wasn't sure how I was going to deal with that, because she was a part of this for me. And it just took me by surprise, and trying to get all of my thoughts together for that and recover from DragonCon and moving forward, it just took a little bit of time. So I apologize that there wasn't a video. I apologize greatly that there were not videos or vlogs during the whole time. I do have some little snippets of things that I'll be linking on my channel in a playlist called DragonCon 2019. I did get some vlogging done, but it wasn't a lot, because frankly the mood was just not there. And the first half of the time I was in Atlanta, I basically stayed in my room or just kind of distracted myself with shopping and that kind of thing, because I just needed time to process. So enough of that. I wanted to kind of just give you a general state of Badass Valkyrie kind of intro there. But these are what I took with me. I also did take my personal with all my trackers and everything, but you guys have seen that, several times. But that was with me the whole time. But I took my weeks, and I took my travel adventure notebook. Although I did not take the camel. I actually took the brown Traveler's Company Traveler's Notebook. However, I switched that out yesterday because I had the same everything that was in there. But I just sent off my brown to Baum Cushion to have them make it truly mine, or they're truly your service. So it's getting, well, I'm not going to tell you what it's getting. I'm going to let that be a surprise, but it is getting customizations done. So I did take this, we'll get into that in a minute, and then I took my A5 Daphne that has my Hobonichi Cousin Avec. I also took something that I don't think you guys have actually seen. This is a Superior Labor passport wallet, and it's empty right now because I just used it while I was traveling, but holy cow, was this freaking perfect. I kept my cash in here. I had my tiny little pen here, and then I had some like my room key and stuff like that in here, but also slipped in was my Travelers Company calendar with some extra note pages in it, just to have like a notebook, because I always have a notebook with me in there. And so it was very thin. I had my calendar in case we were doing any kind of on-the-go planning or anything like that for the future, because it was involving tournaments and seeing friends and all of that kind of thing. And then under this flap, I had my credit cards and my ID cards here. And then in here, I put in any extra cards that I just didn't have room here. But these pockets, I put them in longwise, not acrosswise, because they're really deep pockets. And so you could actually get 2 in each one. They just overlap just a tiny bit. But, oh my goodness, so wonderful. I need to get some brass cleaner to clean the Superior Labor snap, but I freaking love this. And this is their passport wallet in olive, and I loved it. So first up, I will go ahead and go into my weeks. So let me, this is my Hobonichi weeks in my Oak Park Chic Sparrow weekly cover. And this is how August ended up. Obviously, there were a couple of days that I missed my wins, but as I've always said, this is my life book. My Hobonichi books are my life books, and this is how my life is. So this was August. And with my, over here on the side, I put my Finding 52, which is finding an hour or more every week just for myself, doing something outside my ordinary practices and rituals and all that kind of thing that is strictly just for me. And this year it was DragonCon as a whole. I took care of myself at DragonCon, which pretty much encompassed me being in my hotel room in the evenings instead of out partying or whatever, because I needed quiet time. I needed time to get through some things, and I took the time for me when I needed it. And I was very proud of myself for doing that, because normally I would have just soldiered on and just, you know, put a happy face on and gone out. But I didn't. And I needed that time to just chill out and accept what's happened. So this is how August turned out. And then this is how September is going. I haven't put in today. I usually do this at night for my one win. And I can tell you, though, that my win today is actually getting a blog out and up and posted. So that's what I'll be writing in today. And then flipping. So this is how I handle the monthly view. Putting my weekly wins in. And then for August, in my weekly view, this is where it started. So it started here. And I'd started my 16-8 fasting. So 16 hours fasting, 8 hours with an 8-hour eating window. And that lasted about 2 weeks. But, and if you read the blog, you will actually kind of see where things have changed. But I found Ayurveda, and I've been reading and doing a lot of research on that and incorporating some of those practices into my daily routine. And in the month of August, I kind of played around with my fasting schedule a little bit. And what I found was that having a strict eating window and keeping at least 15 to 16 hours of fasting is much better for me. Whereas during the Ayurveda practices, they have you eating between 6 and 8 a.m. And that just it did not work well for my body. However, getting up in the morning and waking up when I actually wake up naturally and getting up and doing a run first thing in the morning has been fantastic. So there are different practices that I've incorporated into my daily routines that I'll go into more in a later video when I talk about it. But I don't do everything. But there are so many things that are now just part of normal culture that have been Ayurveda practices for hundreds and hundreds of years that I'm just like, oh, I didn't know where that ever actually came from. So, but getting back to this, sorry, tangent. This is when August started, and so this is the first full week of August. And again, some days I didn't put anything in. This is my life. This is how it works. This is what happens, and I'm okay with that. Having that blank spot there, yes, it tweaks me just a little bit, but then again, it's like, obviously I did not have time on that Wednesday to go in and do that. So for whatever reason. And then this is the next week. This is the week that I had to suffer through no allergy medications and get my allergist appointment out of the way. That was pure hell. Do not recommend that at all, ever, again. And then this was the last full week in August. And then this was, here's where DragonCon started. And so this was just last week. And then this is this week. And tonight I'll go in and fill this out. This was last night. And yeah. So this is what my weekly view looked like. And I took everything in here with me. And it was fabulous. Because I was kind of sequestered into my hotel room, there were a couple of days that I could just sit down and do this. However, that did not equate to my memory keeping, unfortunately. This, again, is the Traveler's Company Traveler's Notebook. And this is the Superior Labor wallet insert, which I love. I had that in there with the September Cocoa Daisy insert, the standard size insert, but I have put the dates in, but that's it. I thought, for sure I'd be able to go in and at least put down what I wrote or what I did that week or anything. I have a stack of stuff about this thick for memory keeping. I just could not bring myself to write. Again, part of that was I couldn't put into words what I was feeling with Rachel's death and how I was dealing with everything there. Because let me just tell you, 90,000 people in the same space, even though it's a city the size of Atlanta, or a 5 mile or a 5 hotel blocks or 5 blocks really, gives you an overload of energy. Even as an extreme extrovert that I am, I was so overloaded with emotion and adrenaline and not having a way to release that. And writing in here just wasn't going to happen. So I took it with me. I just wanted you guys to know this is the Traveler's Company Week at a Glance, or their weekly, undated weekly. And my plan with this is it will document my travels. So when I feel like I'm ready, I will write down the dates here of DragonCon and put in some memories here. And then I will go forward, and my next trip is October 11th. Alert, alert, alert. I will be at Candy Shop in Portland, Oregon at the Planner Convention there. I on a whim, I bought the ticket. A friend of mine from here is going with us. I'm staying in the hotel room with her. I am so excited to see Cindy Gunter-Baldo and everyone from Simply Gilded and experience this PlannerCon. So, or the planner, it's Planners Gone Wild? No, it's Candy Shop. I know it's a Southern California planner group that puts it on, but I'm so excited for it. It's going to be a very different experience, I think, than PlannerCon was, because I just did the PlannerCon party here, which was neither here nor there, but I have a feeling this is going to be a much different experience. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you're going to go to Candy Shop October 11th, let me know down below so that we can meet, because I would love to meet people at the convention and figure out, you know, fun stuff to do. I will also be doing a tour of coffee shops in Portland at some point. So there we go. But that's what I'm going to use this for, is just my trips, to document my trips. And it'll just be a little blurb, and each page will be a different week. There'll be maybe months that I don't have anything in there. In November, I don't really have a trip scheduled, but in December, I'm going to New Orleans to see Cher with my best friend Kelly Killingson, and I am so excited to, one, get to New Orleans, and two, see Cher with my best friend. That has been a lifelong dream for me. So that was what I took that I didn't use, and I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Then we have my A5 Cousin Avec, and I took the whole thing. I had originally planned to just take this. I even got one of the Midori MD covers that fit perfectly for this, but in the end, I had enough room in my carry-on. I had a messenger bag that I carried on, so I just stuck the whole thing in there, just because this is bendable and I did not want it to get bent or have anything rip out or anything like that. So I took the whole thing and it was not a problem. So let me get into August. And for those of you who don't know, I am using the Cousin Avec, like with the bullet journal method that a lot of folks went through on One Book July. And it worked great for me, and I have had no reason to change. I use this as my Calendex, and I just put in different things that I need to remind myself of. My second nerve block is on Tuesday. Oh, I'm dying. My next 5K is on the 28th. Hopefully between here and here, I will find another 5K. My goal is to have a 10K every quarter. And this quarter, I do not have a 10K. So I want to do another 5K to make it a 10K, if that makes sense. If not, I will run the alumni 5K and then on Sunday do another 5K the next day. And just do a 5K run, and then that's it. But count it together. Then this is the next one. And as I said, the West Coast Planners, that's who it is. Ugh. The West Coast Planners Candy Shop Conference on the 11th of October. I will be in Portland, Oregon. If you're going to be there, let me know. So there we have that. And then this is my future log. And it goes from January to June of 2020. And I'm starting to put in things that are going forward to that. I'm going to be emceeing the Arnold Invitational Tournament in Columbus, Ohio, for the Steel Fighters there. And then I have Gulf Wars, which is an SCA event that is just outside of New Orleans, and I will be going to that. So I'm very excited. But going forward to August, ta-da! This is August. This is how it looked. And this is my, in a bullet journal, when you have your monthly log, and you just, you want number it 1 through 31 or 1 through 30, and you just put your one line a day. That's what this is, except I use the monthly view and just put it into the square. It's about the same amount of space, works out great. So there's how August turned out. And this is September so far. And these are my tasks, the goals that I want to get, and things that I want to get done during September. So we will see if that happens. I haven't put in yesterday's. I will. I know that I made a note to myself, oh yeah, I forgot to go in and do that. So I will go in and do that. So then going into the weeklies, this is my weekly view. And this is where August started. And it is the only thing that I actually had marked as far as color coding or color blocking is my fasting window or my eating window. So from 7:30 to 11:30, I was fasting. And then from 11:30 to 7:30 is my eating window during that week. So it stayed the same here. This is the next week in August, the 5th through the 11th. Here I was trying to focus on my water intake. And so I just put those little stickers from, I believe, Once More with Love, to track my water intake. And then this is where my fasting kind of changed. And I started my fast at 6 o'clock usually, and it would change up the time that I would actually eat breakfast. But that did not work out well. This is what they call phase 1 in Ayurveda practices. And I was trying to accommodate that but still keep my fasting, because intermittent fasting has actually worked really well for me. But it's a practice that did not work well for me here, adjusting the time when I ate breakfast. So as of here, my fasting went back. I just didn't actually take the time to mark it. But my breakfast started going back to having a window of time. And this week, you can see that I've actually marked it out where I start at 7 or before. And if I begin the fast early, like today, my fasting started at 6. So, and I did not eat breakfast until 10:30. I just haven't marked that in there yet. So I'll try to mark when I break fast or have breakfast, then I have lunch. And I either mark it here or on my daily page, and then I just kind of coincide them. But, and then I'm putting my daily wins at the bottom so that I have, because a lot of times, I may not get time to go into my weeks every day. So at least it's here no matter what. And sometimes during the day, my win is first thing in the morning. So when I write it, I write it. And if I duplicate that, that's not a bad thing to duplicate, is my win for the day. So this is how it all looked. And then I'll get into the dailies here. On the front page, I wrote down my stats for the ending of August. I ended my average daily steps were 12,435. My average active minutes was 153. My average sleep time was 6 hours and 59 minutes. Now that was down from the previous month, but the previous month I was putting in when I went to bed, not discounting when I actually fell asleep. So if I went to bed at if I went to bed at 10:30 and I didn't fall asleep, or my Oura ring didn't say that I went to sleep until 10:45, that's 15 minutes that I actually really didn't sleep. And so for the month of August, I literally only put what the Oura ring tracked as my actual sleeping hours. Not when I went to bed, but my actual sleeping hours. So it's pretty close to what I was getting before, but it's my actual sleeping hours. So 6 hours and 59 minutes on average is how much I actually slept during the month, which I find amazingly awesome. My weight fluctuated, and I ended the month, the lowest I got down to was 223.6, which was awesome. But then I started playing with my fasting window and put weight back on. My max was 227.2, which is how I ended the month, I think. But when I was at DragonCon, I couldn't weigh myself. So when I got back, I started September's month at 228.8. But I was dehydrated. I was coming back from a very moist environment. So I don't know. We'll see whatever it ends up, it ends up. I put that as the date on September 3rd, because that's when I was able to weigh myself. So I was like, by golly, we're just going to put it in there, and it is what it is, because I want to know. So this is how the days looked. Some days were very full, some days were not. It just depends. But overall, bullet journaling and using using the bullet journal method in my Cousin Avec is still working great. And I still do my weekly review on Sundays. And it has been really, really, really good. So I have really enjoyed it. It's very easy to keep up with. And again, some days I write a lot, some days I don't. When I was at Raptor War camping, I didn't write a lot. I was out partying during the evenings, or when I would actually do my journaling here at home. But I would much rather be in the moment there if I'm camping or whatnot than not. But, you know, different events, different things happen. Again, DragonCon, a few of the nights I stayed in just to be with myself. I needed time to regain my mental stability, I guess. But when I'm camping with a couple of hundred of my friends, that's a lot different than 90,000. And yes, I said 90,000 people. Yes. And the lines proved it. Holy cow. But again, this is how August turned out. These are my goals for September. And so run, again, my run 30 miles. I got 19.21 miles in August, and that's okay. My plan is to do that, post one blog. By golly, I've already got that done. Whoop! Increase my sleep average, my morning exercise daily, which is something that I've been doing consistently, and it's awesome. I need to clean my main floor. My starting weight was 228.8. Beat last month's stats, get back in the pool, and get back on the bike if this neck block works. If it doesn't, we'll see what happens. But that is that caveat, is I want to get in the pool and back on the bike if I'm able to this month, at least once on each one. Those are my goals. And this is how Sunday looked coming back. I did my weekend review. This was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and this is just what I had on today, and I will update today. So that is how my August went, how DragonCon turned out, and where I'm kind of at right now. I will be putting, as I said, a playlist of one is my panel, 2 is the different fights and things that I actually emceed, so that you can actually see what I used to do. And, you know, who knows what the future will hold. But right now, the way my brain is and my neck and my ear, I'm not doing anything right now. And that is the best thing for me. And we'll see, you know, if I'm able to get back in the pool and all that. I unfortunately am probably going to have to not go to California. I have not been able to train, and that Morro Bay would have been my first ocean swim, and I'm not comfortable doing a pool swim at this point. So yeah, we're not going to do that. It will be my goal for next year, but unfortunately that trip will get put off. But I'm okay with that. It's not that I'm canceling doing it in my next triathlon. I just don't know when that will be, because it's all based on what happens with this nerve block and ablation in my neck. So we will see what happens, but I am positive that it's going to help. I just don't know how much or how it's going to prevent or affect my BPPV, which is my vertigo. So we're just going to see, and we're just going to wait and see. But otherwise, I am getting back to feeling myself. But as my blog says, life should be a snow globe and not an hourglass. And if you guys know of any cool snow globes, let me know down below, because I'm on the lookout for one. But hopefully my blog will explain that a little bit more. However, as always, spend the rest of your life celebrating, because truly, you never know how long you have. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you very soon. Sunday, I'm hoping to put together a memory keep with me with all the stuff that I got from DragonCon. So I'm hoping to get that video done sometime on Sunday, so that I can get it up either Sunday night or Monday. So keep your eye out for that. And again, just be happy and celebrate. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.